Hello and welcome to another watch releases recap for the week of July 28th until August 4th. Let's begin with Christopher Ward and their new C63 line of watches. There are a total of 2 different models released, different complications and different dial colors. One of them is called the Dragonfly. This is a GMT version and it has this sort of blue dial with brushed indexes, brushed set of hands, and of course a GMT hand. Both models are in 36mm case diameters, so you have to have a smaller wrist or prefer smaller watches to really enjoy this one. The other one is more of a field watch and it's called the Mulberry Red. It's essentially the same watch without the GMT bezel and without the GMT complication. Both models come with the same type of bracelet. I like the look of this bracelet, however, I'm not too crazy about the butterfly clasps. Usually there is no micro adjustments, so it's kind of hard to get that precise fit. Other than that, really enjoyed this release. Not necessarily for me because I have a bit of a larger wrist, so 36mm, sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't. But if you have a smaller wrist or if you prefer smaller watches or if you're a lady, these are fantastic. I'm glad that companies like Christopher Ward are listening to the feedback from their customers and trying to adjust and give people what they're asking for. Speaking of, let's talk about Tissot PRX 35 with the 2 new colorways. There's one called Ice Blue. It essentially has the Tiffany blue dial that's very popular. Tissot PRX models in the past already had this type of dial, but now it's available in the 35mm case. The more interesting one is the yellow gold PVD coated one. This watch reminds me quite a bit of the Vacheron Constant 222. That watch was made popular by Brad Pitt. I think he wore it to Wimbledon or something like that, and it blew up all over the internet. Everyone kept on talking about that watch. Well, now Tissot released a watch. It's not necessarily an homage, but it kind of gives you similar vibe for a lot less money. Both of these watches are in a 35mm case, which means that they have that vintage aesthetic. It seems like the industry is moving towards smaller watches. I guess fashion is cyclical. We went from big oversized cases to now smaller cases. I gotta admit, at first I wasn't too sure about this yellow gold PVD coated case. Kind of looked cheap. However, looking at some of the press materials and especially in that smaller sort of vintage-ish size, it does look kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, I would rock a watch like this. Maybe not on a daily basis, but once in a while, I think it just looks really cool. I know that's not gonna be everyone's opinion, but to me, that one looks better than the Ice Blue or the Tiffany blue dial. That one just looks alright, but there's so many different variations of this similar design with the integrated bezel and the Ice Blue dials. There's just so many options now that the market is sort of oversaturated. But hey, those are just my opinions. Moving on. MoonSwatch Mission to Moonshine 2023. Alright, are we tired of talking about MoonSwatch yet? Well, I am. I mean, it's kind of exhausting because you have these people that are really strongly against MoonSwatch, and then there's the other side that's not even that strongly in favor of it. They're just kind of like, alright, it exists. I'm more of that, alright, it's there. We have to make our peace with it. What's interesting about this release and why I wanted to bring it up, essentially they released it for the Swiss day, which was August 1st. We already missed this release because they only sold this watch for 1 day through their boutiques. It wasn't available online, it wasn't available anywhere else. It was just available at their boutiques for just 1 day. I think that's either a genius or a very dumb marketing move. And I'm leaning towards genius because these watches are so affordable and very collectible. People that started collecting these watches will try to get as many of them as possible to have the complete collection. That's why MoonSwatch keeps on releasing new limited edition, limited time watches just to sell more of them to people that are collecting them. I mean, that's genius. For whatever, under $300, they're not the best value for money. They're not the worst. They're just kind of there. They're a swatch that looks like a Speedy, kind of. The difference between this one and the regular Mission to Moon is the seconds hand for the chronograph. This one has little lanterns with Swiss crescent. That's pretty much it. Not my cup of tea, but I guess it's not many people's cup of tea. That's not the point of this watch. The point of this watch is to sell it to collectors. If you have a complete collection, then you're missing this watch. So you will be lining up on August 1st, or I guess you were lining up on August 1st to buy one of these watches to complete your collection. Kind of genius. Kind of a money grab, but kind of genius. Moving on. Breitling Endurance Pro Ironman World Championships Limited Edition. This watch is available in 2 different color variations, and I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Both of these color combinations are not necessarily for me. I'm not a big fan of these sort of over-stylized Breitling watches, or any watches for that matter, even, the super high-end Richard Milles, the ones that are looking kind of like a toy almost, and that's the point behind them, because they're supposed to look tough and over the top, over-engineered. A lot of people like this type of watches. They're just not for me. I do like Breitling, and I understand kind of the feeling that you get when you wear a Breitling. It does make you want to go out and get into trouble and have adventures. I took my Breitling on many adventures. There's just something about this brand, something about their design language that makes you want to go out and explore. With all that being said, these 2 watches don't really do it for me. So what it is, it's essentially an Endurance Pro, which is a line of watches that Breitling has released like 3 or 4 years ago. And now they created a new limited edition. I think each colorway is limited to only 250 pieces each. So it's a very limited edition. And I'm guessing it's for people that are gonna compete in the World Ironman Championships. If you are competing in these, well, you probably would want to buy something like this to commemorate that special occasion. Nivada Grenchen Paul Newman Orange Chronograph with a Mecha Quartz movement, so they don't have the mechanical chronograph movements, but that reflects in the price. They're around $500 US. The reason why I wanted to highlight this watch is because I reviewed a Nivada Grenchen watch a while ago, and I really liked their watches. There's something very special about their design language. I like the combination of a chronograph and a diving style bezel, and especially this orange/faded orange colorway. It looks very special. I don't know if I'll be necessarily picking this one up, but if you're into this type of style, they are releasing them for a limited time. So they're going to be available until the end of August. So you pretty much have a month to make up your mind and pre-order one if you're into this look and this type of a watch. It's not going to be for everyone, but if you are, well, you have a month to buy one until they discontinue them again, and they're probably going to bring them back next year or something like that if they're popular enough. Let's be honest, that's how industry works. And lastly, let's talk about the watch that kind of disappointed me, the new Porsche Designs 911 ST limited release. Why did this watch left me a little disappointed and a little sad, if I'm being honest? It's not because of the watch itself. The watch itself is alright. So it's released to celebrate 60th anniversary of Porsche 911, a legendary sports car loved by a lot of car enthusiasts, and a lot of car enthusiasts are also watch enthusiasts. In 1972, Ferdinand Porsche was kind of pushed out of Porsche because they had the inner turmoil. There's a very interesting story behind it, but basically he was pushed out of his own company because there was fighting within the family. So he created his own company called Porsche Designs, and it was sort of a third-party company that was licensing Porsche name and also creating some of their own designs. And Porsche Design Watches was one of those products. Fast forward to today, and they have many hits, many watches that watch enthusiasts like this limited edition Porsche 911 ST. This watch is released together with the 911 ST limited edition sports car, and it is an option to buy with your car, from my understanding at least. So when you're speccing out your Porsche 911 ST, if you're lucky enough to be able to buy one of those cars, because they're very limited, I think they're limited to 1963 cars, just like the year when the Porsche was first produced, you can choose this watch as an option, and it costs $13,500, which is a lot of money, and it's one of the most expensive options that you can add onto the car, and then they will give you this watch. The reason why it makes me kind of sad is because a lot of people that buy these cars, they're not driving these cars. They're just buying them as collector items. And when it comes to a watch like this, it's going to be the same story. A lot of people are going to buy this watch or spec it out as an option for their 911. and it's gonna sit in a garage. They're only gonna buy it to have the complete set, so to speak, just to have it for the resale value later on. So when you're selling the car, you can also sell it with the watch, which will bring up the value. I really don't like seeing that. I don't know why it really bothers me. And it shouldn't, because it's your money, do as you wish with it. But for some reason, it makes me sad when collectors buy things and don't enjoy them. I guess it's slightly different type of enjoyment, having the watch sit in the bank or having the car sit in your garage and you just look at it to appreciate it, but you don't actually wear it, you don't actually use it. But for me, it just boggles my mind. I don't like it. I feel like if you are buying an object, you should enjoy it. You should really go out and have fun with it, build memories, instead of having it sit in a bank safe. And if you're gonna buy the watch to sit in a bank safe, well, just don't buy it. Let somebody else buy it who will actually enjoy it. That's just my take. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Leave comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this type of collecting strategy and these type of limited releases for watches that will clearly sit in a bank. I always enjoy reading your comments. That's it for today's video. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the YouTube channel to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.